One of my friends has a 28-year-old heart in his body.
A transplant.
A transplant. He's doing good.
28, that's one of the longest ones out there. We had a 33 and he just died.
Wait.
He's been alive for 5 years. Hey, thanks for
Which one? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to cut to the chase here.
There it is.
This is a lot of the history of artificial heart stuff and some of the things that have come and gone that are no longer here. And now this is the, these are some of the homemade ones that we were making them out of stuff from the hardware store and then started making them out of medical hernia mesh and actually put one in a patient. This is the earliest iteration and it ended up on the cover of Popular Science. We got a lot of press. That was in 2011. That's how we met these guys from Australia. And this is the dream team. This is how the device works. It has one moving part. Yeah, one moving part inside that's spinning in an electromagnetic field, not touching anything. These triangles pump the red blood to the body. These tines pump the venous blood to the lungs. And it's suspended in an electromagnetic field, so it never touches anything. It's right in the middle of here, so it'll never wear out. It'll last forever. Right now, you still have a cable going outside to and this is how we iterated it. 3D printed plastic, and it's a long, complex story. But the bottom line is, this is the previous best artificial heart in the world. After spending $250 million and doing 14 implants, they gave up. It wouldn't last longer than 9 months. So now, this is our device. This is this device.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 4 times bigger. Here's our first cow we did. And there's a cow with a 3D printed plastic device. So we say it's non-pulsatile. Well, we're starting to make a pulse. We're going to spin it fast and slow. Why? So a blood pressure cuff will pick up your blood pressure. So a pulse ox will pick up your oxygen saturation, and maybe it'll wash out the pump better. So then we started printing it out of titanium. This is a new technology where it takes titanium dust and a laser melts the titanium dust together. And then after 12 hours of doing that, you put on your respirator because you don't want to breathe the stuff. Then you brush away the titanium dust, and there's a Vivacor made out of metal arising from the dust. And we put that, this is our first animal, we put one of those in. And that's the kind of army it takes to do that work. And we've got this super well-trained army at the Texas Heart Institute. These are all animal care folks and doctors and scientists and engineers. And I'm in there somewhere, but I'm the chief medical officer and I've done every implant. And the animals do great. They can jog on a treadmill with cardiac outputs better than any of you have ever had in your most strenuous exercise. And so after doing this over and over again, look at this, this cow put on 80 pounds with his artificial heart in his chest over several months. Then we did design freeze. We went to the FDA. We said, what do you need to see? They looked over all our animal data. They said 5 in a row in 30 days. Here are those 5 in the control. We have a room in Huntington Beach, California. This is just 8. There's now 16 pumps. 8 of them have been going for over 3 years without a failure. Based on that, they said we could start doing patients. We're going to get rid of the drive line. The drive line gets smaller, the controller gets smaller, and then we get rid of this altogether, so you won't be able to tell that someone's got this in. Here's the first 4 sites, and here's the first 5 patients. We started in July of last year. Still makes shivers go up and down my spine to see an x-ray. We've been working on this for 20 years. This is our first patient. And here's a guy on the roof of a hospital talking about how great he feels. He's got the artificial heart in his chest. He was on his deathbed.
Oh my God.
He couldn't talk, he was on the breathing machine. What was his injection? Like 18%. Yeah, he was end-stage biventricular failure. But look at this, man. This is amazing. This guy was on his deathbed. Here he is, 12 days after getting this device, doing a 416 meter
Look at
6-minute
that.
walk. Like, better than any of you can do. And so he had it for 27 days, and all these patients have been transplanted now. Look, and you get a pulse. That's the rotor going fast and slow. That's that very device. Here's what it looks like when you take it out. When this patient had his transplant, we took it over to the back table and put a camera inside. It looks brand new. If it looks like that in a month, it'll look like that in 10 years. We went to the FDA is making this. And we want to get rid of it, make the drive line smaller. But this is the patient, while the FDA was weighing on those first 5, we went to Australia and did this guy. This guy was the first patient in the world to be discharged home with this in his chest. They found him a heart. He came in after 104 days and got a transplant. Here's our first female.
This is a temporary between transplants.
Only now, by the end of the day, we want this to be instead of a transplant. We want this to be not waiting for someone to get in a car wreck and brain dead to find a heart in the middle of the night. We want this to be the elective implant because 160,000 Americans die every year of heart failure. We can transplant 4,000 of them. That's all the hearts we have. We can make 100,000 of these a year. We can transplant everybody. This is our first female patient. She's 5'3". No artificial heart, other artificial heart fit her. She was done at Trice Hospital in Cincinnati. She's the first U.S. patient to go home with her chest. She went home, came back after a couple months on day 83 and got a transplant.
I'm surprised the size of those tubes. Those are really big. These guys here, those are big diameter.
How big is your aorta? It's bigger than that. And your pulmonary artery is bigger than that. And these get cut off. So we cut the heart out, we go in the heart lung machine, just like a transplant. We open you up like this. And I got pictures in here and videos, but I think it's too gross for a game. But anyway, on the heart lung machine, we got the aorta cross clamp. We cut the heart out. So we're looking at the back wall of where the heart used to attach. We take one of these, we go, trim it down, sew it in so it doesn't leak. I can show any one of you how to do this in an hour. The funny saying is, it's not hard to do heart surgery, it's hard to get to do heart surgery. But you sew one of these to the left and one of them to the right atrium, and then you take that device and you plug those in. And you go pop, pop, and then you cut these off really short. And so this one to the aorta, this one to the pulmonary artery. Get all the air out, start it up. The next day, the patient's sitting up in bed going, can I get something from my breastbone? It really hurts. Yeah. And then they're up walking within the week. Some patients after 2 or 3 or 4 days. With a stethoscope, you can hear it. You can't, with your ear by their chest, you couldn't hear anything. Good question. This weighs 660 grams. All of your hearts, your young, healthy people, probably weigh about 500 grams. So it weighs more than a healthy heart. But we're not replacing any healthy hearts. And if you fill the healthy heart with blood, it weighs more than this. And it's about this big. Some of the hearts we replace in transplant weigh 1,200, 1,300 grams and are this big. In fact, for 3 of the patients we did in the United States, there was so much room in the chest, we put a breast implant in underneath it to maintain the space of the transplant. So it's considerably smaller than any artificial heart that's been before. It produces 10 times the flow. You all have cardiac output between 5 and 6 liters a minute. It'll do that for 5 to 6 watts. It uses very little power. This will be the world's first practical permanent artificial heart.
Is that a charge battery?
Just for the battery charging.
Just have to carry the battery.
You carry 2 batteries and a computer. The computer, though, anybody that has a computer on their wrist or a computer on their phone, you know how small and dense they can be. We're moving the computer inside the can, so the only thing outside the body is the battery. And then we get rid of the wire and use inductive coupling. Inductive coupling is the thing that allows you to set your phone on something and charge it. We'll have an antenna underneath your skin and then a vest with an antenna, so you'll be able to take it off and go for a swim or shower or participate in a very aggressive orgy.
I like that.
No blood clotting, no hemolysis.
He's had problems with the long time ago with his peristaltic pump.
Oh, yeah, only in the earliest stuff. So all the pumps now use spinning fins, all the LVADs, and then over the truck. The only place you can go and plug is the interface between your body and the sewing and the tissue trauma. But we're getting a lot better at that. We're doing computer modeling. In fact, I want to show you something really crazy. Talking about computer modeling. This is an all plastic block, but the inside of it looks just like the inside of that. Why did we make a plastic one of these? We're going to spin this with a cable so we can put it in an MRI. And we'll be able to do four-dimensional MRI and characterize the flow streams, the boundary conditions, the eddy currents, boundary
Sensors on the inside, we just put flow sensors on the inside.
There's no flow sensor that's durable. They all drift and they all cause. So Millar made one in the last several months. So our magnetic levitation is our flow sensor. Because you know how fast something's spinning, you know how much power it takes to spin it, you know the hydraulic design of your right rotor and your left rotor, you know the viscosity of the blood, and you know what the left and right atrial pressures are because the magnetic bearing feels that. With all that, this device spits out right atrial pressure, pulmonary artery pressure, pulmonary vascular resistance, left atrial pressure, systemic vascular resistance, and blood pressure. And here is a cow we did in China 16 days ago. I was just up back from that. And we're watching real time what all those numbers are on him because we're helping them care for them as they get ready to start implanting. So here's these are all the laboratory data. And here is real time, 11 liters per minute. His left atrial pressure is 7, his mean arterial pressure is 95, his resistance is 701 dynes, pulmonary vascular resistance is 73, his mean arterial pressure is 60.
Let's see what's going on.
And then we tie AI into that, and then it becomes all fine. And here she is. This is all from today, by the way. It's just like, here she is, she's a beautiful little girl cow.
Billy.
She's got the artificial heart in her. She's had it for 15 days now.
Dan Dean, so he's putting the
The red cells below. Crazy. I like a good kind of crazy. We've been putting we've been putting electromagnetic pulse. We've had a patient now that's had one of the rotors assisting his weak heart for 22 years. We're the first to cut the heart out and make a rapidly spinning artificial heart. Anyway, pass it around, take a bunch of Facebook photos.
Oh my God. Wow.